Alright, before we get into this video, I want to throw a little disclaimer out there.
90% of the time, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm just an average guy who's maybe a little too obsessed with bow hunting and buying things and buying bow hunting things. So you can take this review for what it is. I'm not a professional at anything. So that's that. I'm not going to tell you about what this site can do, its features, or anything like that. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing you already know about the site. I'm not going to tell you why you should get it or why I got it. Maybe at the end of this video I'll talk about why I got it. But I've been shooting with it for just a few hours now. I've only shot maybe 10 arrows. I don't even have it fully set up. But there's already a few things I don't really care for. First of all, it kind of weighs a lot. I know I've seen some reviews saying it's not that heavy. Well, I had a Range Rover Pro before this, which is like a similar sight as far as lens sight, single pin, green dot, illuminated type sight, and that was pretty heavy, and that weighed I think about 12.5 ounces. This sight weighs I think 14.5. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But so it's kind of heavy like you would think it would be, but I guess it's not too much heavier than that. And this is maybe a little nitpicky because I'm a little obsessed with how things install and look. The way you gotta mount this button to range, you gotta just tape it around your grip and just tape it around up here so the wires aren't in the way of your arrow when you shoot. And I guess there's really no way to fix that, but it's just something I don't really care for. The initial setup took quite a while. I didn't really read the instructions that much. I'm a guy, so I just put the sight on and said, let's just go with it. So I went back to the instructions a few times, watched a few videos, came back and forth, and the arrows for the calibration when setting it up to let you know if you're torquing the bow or not, they're really hard to see, and I had the brightness set up as high as it could go. The dot is really easy to see, but trying to figure out which way those arrows are going to tell you to move your two adjustments on the sight. There are two curved adjustments on here, to tilt it this way and tilt it left and right, and you want to get the dot inside this little circle. Well, those little green arrows in that little green circle were pretty hard to see for me, and that worries me a little bit when it comes to setting up a new bow. Like if you just bought a brand new bow at the shop or offline or wherever, and you are trying to get your pin lined up and everything else lined up, and then try to go to this site at the same time, there's going to be a lot of back and forth, I think, there. For me, I already had this bow set up for my other site, so everything else was lined up already, and it was still a little bit of a hassle to get it lined up. Another thing is, like I said before, I had the Range Rover Pro, which is a lens type sight. Same idea, it just doesn't have the technology. And the glare on that wasn't bad. I figured this would be better because it's a lot more money and it's a Garmin. But from just the 10 shots I've taken out here in the sun, there's a good amount of glare. I feel like more glare than the Range Rover. So that is disappointing for sure. But you know, maybe when I shoot it some more, maybe I'll get used to it. Or sorry for the noise. There's a bunch of carp spawning in the river behind my house here. But what else don't I like? I guess for now, that's pretty much it. Oh, and it's kind of a long sight, which a lot of people would like, and I like too, but for the case I have a hard SKB case. I originally had this sight mounted on here all the way as far out as it could go, and then I went to go put it into my case, and it wouldn't fit in there. I had to move it back. So it's no big deal. It's adjusted all the way back as far as it can go, and it barely fits in there. So if you have an SKB case like I have, you'll have to set it back towards you as far as you can. Yeah, other than that, it's going pretty good. After that initial setup with that calibration, like I was talking about, it's very repeatable as far as that. Every time I drew back the bow and got anchored and got my bubble level, that dot was right inside that circle where it needed to be, and it was very easy to get it back there every time. It just was right there. So that's good. Definitely when you're setting it up, the pins that it's going to give you at first are going to be, for me anyways, they're really far off. You sight in first at 15 yards. If you try to go closer, it tells you have to back out to 15 yards. You can't start at 10. So you got to go to 15. You get that one set up good, and before you hit yes to select that pin, make sure that you adjust this up and down, and get that right on. You know, just as far as like setting in a sight normal, make sure you get that right on, because when you hit OK, it's going to tell you to go back to 25 yards, and then you're done adjusting that pin. You can always go back, but from that initial setup, it's just going to tell you to go back right away. So make sure you really got that one on and get that one set up good, and then move back. I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, but as I was saying, when I went from 15 to 25 yards, the pin that it gave me was way off. Like I was shooting 9 inches high at 25 yards. So just be aware of that. You don't want to be losing arrows. You know, I almost shot over my target. That's pretty much as far as I've gotten into testing this sight out. What I want to do is give a full review after setting it up farther distances and shooting it more and messing with the settings more, because I haven't even really messed with anything. I just got it and just started messing with it. What I want to do is get it out in the woods and, you know, with some trees and branches and all that, and see how the rangefinder works through that, because that's something I'm definitely worried about when hunting, is trying to range something and hitting little branches and you know, all that. I mean, you gotta wait till the deer gets in the open anyways, but still, you know, you want to be ready for it. So I don't know if there's anything else really. Oh, I'll talk about why I got this sight. So I already had the Range Rover Pro. Like I said, it's same idea, just not all the cool technology. And I already use a rangefinder. And for me, this year, I want to, for the first time, start recording my deer hunts, turkey hunts, you know, hunting. I want to record my hunts. And from what I hear is it's not an easy thing to do, as far as getting the deer in camera, in focus, trying to get your bow ready, trying to get everything set up. And for me, I can't imagine, if that's hard to do as it is, trying to then range find your deer if it moves, get everything set up, get your bow ready, all that stuff, and make a good shot while getting it on film. So for me, it seemed like a good investment. If it does what it's supposed to do, that'll give me one less thing to worry about in the woods. I'll just be able to get the deer in camera, get set up, just pull back and get my pin ranged and just let the arrow go and make good shots and hopefully make good kills. So that's why I got this sight, and for the torquing feature. That's really the main reason too, because it's nice to have the range finding feature, but that torquing feature to let you know if you're torquing your bow at all when shooting, that seems like a really cool technology to me. And if I could just mess around with this for a little while with that feature and just see how I'm shooting, see how my form is, I'd even be happy to go back to another sight, just a regular single pin, just because then I'll know how I'm shooting, So obviously I'm not going to go back to a single pin if this one works out, but I'm just saying. So that's it. Gonna do a full review, hopefully soon. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hey, I just wanted to add a few more things real quick. After reviewing my initial reaction, I realized it seemed as if I just was bashing the site and just talking all kinds of crap about it.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
That's just me. Sometimes I get something new, like a new bow, a new sight, and I'm excited at first, but then I just start picking it apart and focusing on all the bad things and forgetting to talk more about the good things about it. Obviously, it's a cool site, all the capabilities it has, the technology, which I'm not even really sure about yet. I haven't really even tapped into all the things it can do yet. I didn't really read the book or watch any videos. I kind of did when I was setting it up, going back and forth, which I actually wanted to record me setting it up, but that was proving to be way more difficult than I thought it would be. I probably made it harder on myself than what I should have, just because I just winged it, threw the sight on, and just went outside. But hopefully for everybody else, it's not as bad. Like I said, in hindsight, it was not that hard. There are a few things that I noticed after I shot the bow and messed with the sight a little bit more after that initial reaction that I had. For me, I noticed that I had to range my target at full draw. I don't know if that's because when you set the sight up, you were doing it at full draw. But I watched some other videos of people setting it up or just shooting. They were ranging before they drew back, and for me, I couldn't get to work. It was ranging like 9 yards when I was at like 20, so it just was way off, But when I was at full draw, every time it was right on. It was consistent. It was perfect. So maybe that's just me. Maybe that'll change. But other than that, I like the sight. It's cool. I like that it's single pin. I did get the A1i, and only just because I wanted the green dot. That's another thing. I don't want to focus on the bad. Keep doing that. But the A1, you can only have a red dot, and I wanted the green dot. I didn't need any of the other features that the A1i has. I wish the A1 had a green dot, like red or green dot option. Because I got the A1i where it has the red or green. I don't even need the red. I probably would never use the red. So if they just made it either or for the A1 and then had the A1i have both, that'd have been a lot better, in my opinion. But other than that, I will do a full review, like I said. Just stay tuned for that, and hopefully we'll learn some more about it, and I'll be able to tell everyone about what I think